Well, hi there, food friends. It's Kevin, and welcome to Cavalcade of Food. And today, another vintage cookbook edition. And today, we are going to be talking about the McCall's cookbook. So, a number of people have asked me about McCall's and if I had copies and would I do a video. So, yes, yes, and yes. We're going to start with um, the kind of the background of McCall's. Of course, some of you may remember that McCall's was first a magazine, and a magazine, frankly, that went back a long time in American history, really went back to the late 19th century. And James McCall, to which the magazine is named, was a Scottish immigrant who was a designer of sewing patterns. That's what he started doing. He started creating patterns for sewing and selling them. And this is really what was in the early days the contents of McCall's magazine. Was really all about sewing, and there would be patterns included in the magazine, and they sort of always kept that tradition in one form or another through the years. And I'm not a sewer, so I don't know if they still sell McCall's patterns in sewing departments and sewing stores, but for years, McCall's was a huge manufacturer of sewing patterns back in the days when people sewed. There was almost a sewing machine in every home, or in most homes had a sewing machine at one time. It's so funny. I was just at an estate sale recently, and there was a sewing machine there, and I mean, they only wanted $10 for it. It was a beautiful old sewing machine from the 1950s, and they couldn't give it away, literally, because people don't sew, because ready-made clothes are so inexpensive now and accessible. But there was a time when that wasn't the case, and a lot of people made their own clothes, and a resource was McCall's. Well, over the years, the magazine changed ownership and sort of expanded to become more of a total woman's oriented magazine. So there were sections in the magazine that dealt with food and cooking and homemaking and housekeeping, child rearing, and other important issues to women, particularly. And so I actually have a McCall's magazine here. Sometimes I pick up magazines because I really like looking at the advertisement. Here's the back ad. She's a Breck girl. She uses Breck shampoo. Who remembers that? This magazine is dated December 1971. And so amidst the many ads for cigarettes and household products and small appliances and legs pantyhose that come in a little egg. Gosh, does this take you back? There is in every issue, there was something called the McCall's pattern. And this is the first tie you can make in 40 minutes, even if it's the first tie you make. So simple you can make it while you're watching television. McCall's pattern number 2971, 65 cents. You could send away for a pattern for a necktie that you could sew for a man in your life, I guess. And anyways, but there's also lots of articles in here and recipes. It's a December issue, so there's recipes like fruitcake and fruitcake to fit your family, splendor for the holiday table, a creche of Christmas cookies. So food was a regular thing in McCall's magazine. So in 1963, they published the first McCall's Cookbook. So the first, if you have an edition, a first edition from 1963, it's basically this cover, except it's dark green. And over the many printings, they would change the color of the cover. So you'll see this, in green, white, red, and it all sort of has the same sort of play on the O's in the word cook and book with different dishes. So this is the first edition, although this one's not from 1963. This one is from, let's see, this is the 11th printing of the 1963 edition. There's a handwritten note on the first page. It says, received on April 17th, 1970, Raleigh coupons. No, I know what Raleigh coupons were. Raleigh was a brand of cigarettes, and every pack of cigarettes had a coupon or two, like green stamps or something like that, and you would save them, and after you got so many, you could send away for a catalog and send them in and redeem them for things. So she smoked her way into this cookbook, it looks like, and so it even has the woman's name here who owned it. So in 1970. But I always like this sort of presentation. On the inside of the cover, there is a list of herbs, and I think it's on the back as well. It continues. Their names, what the plant looks like, and how these herbs are used in dishes. But this was really a general cooking book. So if you have any kind of memory of McCall's, maybe someone in your family had a copy, maybe you got a copy at one time, it is really a generalized cookbook. Unlike Better Homes and Gardens and Betty Crocker and some others, it does not have photographs. Instead, it has lots of illustrations throughout the book. This is what we call a two-color print. So it's basically the ink colors are black and blue, and so the illustrations are all in black and blue generally, and they go throughout the book. It covers a lot of territory. You have introduction to cooking, appetizers, beverages, quick breads, yeast breads, cakes, frostings, fillings, cake decorating, cookies, candy and confections, casseroles and main dishes, cereals, dessert sauces, eggs, omelets, and soufflés, fish and shellfish, freezing, jams, jelly, relishes, meats and game, pies and small pastries, poultry, salads, salad dressings, sandwich and sandwich fillings, sauces and gravies, soups, spices and herbs, vegetables and potatoes, chafing dish cooking, convenience food, cooking for children, cooking for two, entertaining, international cookery, leftovers, low-calorie cooking, meal planning and menus, nutrition, outdoor cooking, and a calorie chart and general shopping guide. That's a lot in these 700, almost 800 pages of the McCall's Cookbook. So, again, this is an 11th printing of the first edition. there's nothing in here that wasn't in the first edition, so it is really the original contents from 1963. And then 10 years later, in 1973, we get the new McCall's cookbooks. So here's the original iteration, and then we get the new McCall's cookbook, and this one has over 1,000 recipes that are tested from the McCall's test kitchens, and America's favorite dishes, a large selection of international cooking, step-by-step instructions, hints and techniques, menus for entertaining, balanced meals, and again, here they also, a two-color print they go with, but in this case it is red and black ink colors, and the illustrations, again, no photographs in the book really, but lots and lots of different illustrations. And so a lot of updated recipes, you know, in terms of what we were eating and how we were eating, really from 1963 to 1973 changed a lot, you know, when you think about that. And I'm just trying to see if there's any other little clues in here. So this is a first edition of the new, updated McCall's cookbook. So 1963, 1973. Then let's fast forward here to 1984. So 11 years after this, we get the new and revised, updated McCall's cookbook. So this is the new McCall's cookbook. This is the new revised and updated McCall's cookbook. And again, this one, it's funny that they definitely have the theme. This has got an all black ink printing, but again, illustrations. In this case, they are just black and white. But here's a chapter as an example on microwave cooking, which wouldn't have been in the previous editions. And it says that this is so much has changed since 1973, yes, to 1984. And they are right about that, as food is something that always evolves. So there's kind of 20 years of time between these three. If you collect cookbooks, having a McCall's cookbook is certainly something to have on your shelf. It isn't necessarily as comprehensive, say, as a Better Homes and Gardens or Betty Crocker cookbook, but it is a good cookbook, and it really is a good general all-purpose cookbook. They sold a lot of these. I know in the first 10 years of this McCall's cookbook, they sold, well over 1 million copies. So I want to mention that if I talk about periodically in the cookbook series, I talk about kind of interesting or quintessential cookbooks. If you love old cookbooks, there is a channel on YouTube that not only talks about old cookbooks, but makes recipes from these cookbooks. And that's my friend Anna. And Anna has a wonderful YouTube channel called Cooking the Books. And if you have not seen it, I highly recommend that you check out her channel, because she not only collects old cookbooks, she then cooks from them. as well. She'll pick some recipes from a cookbook and prepare them, and it's lots of fun to watch them. And Anna's just a great person and a fun host, and you'll enjoy it. It's Cooking the Books here on YouTube. So, those of us who are not AI, I'm a real person. So is Anna. We try to stick together here and present some of these wonderful vintage things. But McCall's Cookbook, again, look for it when you're out, and if you're in a place, an estate sale, a rummage sale, a used bookstore, cookbooks, again, you'll see a lot of different colors of the cover, particularly in the first edition here, and it's a nice one to pick up and hold on to. And again, another cookbook that came out of a magazine. We've already done, I think we have, Good Housekeeping cookbooks here on the Cavalcade of Food cookbook series. But I'm just looking around the library here, and I see cookbooks that came out of Red Book magazine as well. Of course, Better Homes and Gardens, naturally, which we've already done. But many other magazines, Sunset, many other magazines have published cookbooks, and we'll get to them all eventually. But I wanted to spotlight McCall's and its long history that started with sewing patterns and evolved into sort of a full magazine over the years. And I don't know that it's published still. Magazines are one of those things, printed things. Let me know if anybody still sees or subscribes to McCall's, if it's still a thing. I don't know. So many magazines now, at least from when I grew up and was a young adult, are no longer around. But these wonderful cookbooks are out there, and if you have interest, I encourage you. Again, you got a McCall's cookbook story? Share it in the comments. Is there a favorite recipe in one of these McCall's cookbooks that you think is a real winner? I'm looking at McCall's best chocolate cupcakes, just for starters. I would certainly like to try that. And maybe you know of a recipe that you can share with the rest of us food friends. So, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It really, really helps keep things going here at Cavalcade of Food. Share, hit the like button if you enjoy the cookbook series. And I invite you to check out the website, which is cavalcadeoffood.com. And there's all kinds of fun stuff there. It'll connect you to my other YouTube channel, Always Analog, and my Saturday morning radio program, the Cavalcade Radio Hour. And until next time, I hope you are all well, and I will look forward to seeing you back here real soon on Cavalcade of Food. Bye, everybody.